Hello, everyone, and happy Thursday. Today, we're diving deep into the largest pandemic-era fraud case in America. A scheme so bold, it stole from hungry children, scammed taxpayers, and ended in the longest sentence yet, 28 years in federal prison for one of its masterminds, Abdiaziz Farah. This case should outrage every American, regardless of party, because it's outright disgusting. Let's break down what happens when government bloats, oversight fails, and no one's held accountable until now. Welcome to Nelly Miranda. For those unfamiliar, Feeding Our Future was a Minnesota-based nonprofit that claimed to feed low-income children during COVID school closures. They took advantage of emergency USDA waivers that suspended oversight to give food to kids quickly. It sounds great in theory, until the money started disappearing. They exploded from managing a handful of sites in 2019 to over 300 sites by 2021. But here's the kicker. Many of these were completely fake. No food, no kids, just lies. Parking lots and apartment buildings were listed as meal sites. The FBI set up surveillance at these so-called meal sites and did not even see 50 people per day, let alone the thousands that they claimed to feed per day. Take a look at this coverage from Fox 9.
In December of 2021, the FBI installed a surveillance camera overlooking this building just off Lake Street in Minneapolis. At the time, it was Safari Restaurant, which overall took in $12 million in federal child meal payments through Feeding Our Future. Safari's former co-owner, Salim Saeed, is on trial alongside Amy Bach, the Feeding Our Future executive director. Safari claimed to feed 4,000 to 6,000 kids a day. Its invoices and meal counts shown to the jury alongside the video. An FBI agent testifying that an average of 40 people came and went during the 6 weeks it was surveilled. The FBI set up a total of 12 cameras at sites claiming to serve extraordinary numbers of meals. Another was at a deli in St. Paul, also registered by defendant Salim Saeed, which claimed 1,800 meals per day. The video, shown to the jury, showed an average of 23 people a day coming and going. The jury was shown dozens of invoices, meal counts, and emails seized from Feeding Our Future's headquarters in St. Anthony. Some showed links to websites that randomly generated names and ages to create rosters of children who were served meals. Many were signed or sent by Amy Bach, who's charged with wire fraud, along with bribery for the alleged kickbacks that she received. Her defense attorney tried to raise doubt when it cross-examined the FBI agent, that they didn't see the back entrance where it's possible meals left packed in trucks for delivery. He pushed back, insisting they'd still see congestion. To that volume, he said, I would say it would not make any sense.
First of all, I cannot believe Amy Bach's lawyer is trying to portray her as an innocent victim who was taken advantage of against her will and had absolutely no idea what was going on. So she thought the kickbacks were coming from where? However, officials tried to flag the fraud. But Minnesota's leadership, and I say that with emphasis, those warnings were ignored. Why? Because in progressive circles, raising questions about fraud in minority-run nonprofits get you labeled as racist or culturally insensitive. This wasn't just a few bad apples. As of today, 73 people have been federally indicted in connection with Feeding Our Future. More than 50 have already been convicted, including over 40 guilty pleas and 7 trial convictions. The estimated fraud, over $250 million. $250 million in taxpayer dollars gone. One woman who was part of this massive fraud scheme testified in hopes of a lighter sentence. She claims that they all knew that they were defrauding the system, but they were too busy chasing the money. Take a listen.
It was in this building on East Lake Street in Minneapolis where Kamar Hassan opened S&S Catering in 2018. In 2020, she enrolled her business, which is no longer here, as a meal site under Feeding Our Future, and soon claimed to feed 2,500 kids every day here. Jurors were shown her submitted meal counts. Is it accurate, she was asked by the prosecutor. No. Why did you sign it? I was not thinking straight at the time, she said. We were just hunting money, but it's not good. Kamar Hassan pled guilty in 2023 and testified now in hopes of a lighter sentence, but clarified on the stand that there's no deal in place. Her catering company on Lake Street took in $6.8 million as a meal site alone and then became a supplier to other meal sites. Several were in the very same building operated by her business partner, with food Hassan admitted she did not supply. But with that food money, she testified, she then bought the building for $5 million. In total, court documents show she and her co-conspirators got more than $16.5 million through Feeding Our Future. Often sobbing on the witness stand, Hassan said, "I feel shame and sorry for what I did." Jurors also saw this video posted by Somali TV Minnesota of a party in Hassan's building for Amy Bach, the Feeding Our Future executive director, who's now on trial for the fraud. Hassan said they were celebrating all the money. Bach's defense attorney questioned how Bach could have known about the fraud, since Hassan rarely dealt with Bach directly.
First of all, do you guys not see Amy Bach sitting in the middle, accepting all of this praise? The white savior who came in and enriched us all into millionaire status. But her lawyer says that she had no idea what was going on. She's completely innocent. She meant well, and she still means well. Take a look at this clip from her lawyer.
Is there anything you want to say to the parents, children who relied on this government money for food, who might be questioning what happened here and why?
It's an unfortunate situation. My client meant well. She still means well. And we hope that the jury will see that all she did was trying to help folks.
Do you plan to go to trial then versus a plea negotiation? Would you be open to that at all?
She's not going to plead guilty.
She's not. And why is that?
She's innocent.
This is laughable. So this innocent woman who had dreams of feeding the children meant well, and that these Somalians involved her in a scheme that she had no idea what was happening. Because how dare they try to strip this innocent soul of her innocence? Give me a break. Now, let's talk about the man at the center of it all. Abdiaziz Farah. Federal prosecutors called him a leader and orchestrator, and the evidence backed that up. I'll call him Big Dog, Big Baller Shot Caller. So anyways, he submitted millions in fake invoices, created fake businesses, and used fake children's names to claim the meals. This wasn't sloppiness. This was organized, industrial scale theft. He then used the money to buy luxury cars, real estate, and even international property. Not a single dollar went to the kids that they claimed to serve. He was convicted on 23 of 24 counts, including wire fraud, passport fraud, money laundering, and bribery. And just yesterday, he was sentenced to 28 years in federal prison in order to pay back nearly $48 million in restitution. Now, where the hell is he going to get $48 million from? Anyways, take a look at this news clip from Care 11 News.
As the ringleader in a group that stole nearly $50 million and the mastermind behind the plot to bribe a juror in his trial, 36-year-old Abdiaziz Farah is one of the most prolific fraudsters in the Feeding Our Future case.
Yeah, he's one of the worst for several factors.
Acting U.S. Attorney Joe Thompson says Farah was one of the very first people to begin defrauding taxpayers during the pandemic, recruiting others, and claiming to serve 18 million meals to children, at first out of his tiny Empire Cuisine and Market in Shakopee. Eventually making more absurd claims, such as serving kids in big open fields to the tune of nearly $50 million.
People in this case not only took tens of millions of dollars, but laundered much of it abroad and sent much of it to Kenya, among other things. They were building an entire apartment building in Nairobi.
The feds can't get back the cash Farah sent or the property he bought in Kenya, but they did seize 5 luxury cars and all the U.S. property he bought, including lots on Prior Lake, where he planned to build a multi-million-dollar home. At his sentencing hearing, Farah apologized for trying to bribe one of his jurors, saying he panicked, but he said nothing of his role in the fraud scheme.
The sense I got was he's sorry he got caught.
Judge Nancy Brazel sentenced Farah to 28 years in prison, the longest sentence so far among the pandemic meal fraud suspects. And afterwards, Thompson updated the scope of the overall loss of taxpayer money.
So the $50 million that they took, most of that's in addition to the $250 million that's commonly cited as the total loss amount in this case. So the total loss in this case is well in excess of $300 million and possibly in excess of $400 million.
Insane. This is what happens when progressive politics outweigh accountability and DEI shields corruption from scrutiny. Let me be clear, this has nothing to do with race. It has everything to do with fraud, government incompetence, and abuse of emergency funding with zero strings attached. Governor Tim Walz's administration ignored the red flags. They rubber-stamped tens of millions of dollars in payments. Why? Because questioning nonprofits during COVID was considered politically dangerous. This fraud scheme is almost laughable because the lack of oversight is just stupid. No way I'd be signing off millions of dollars without proof of how it's being used, without showing up to one of these sites to help them feed the children. In March of this year, Tim Walz gave a statement and said, "This is something that is obviously very close to me because I am furious about this. I have been from the beginning. These are criminals that preyed on a system that was meant to feed children. It was organized. They continue to lie about that." End quote. Well, I'm curious to know if Timmy benefited from any of this in any capacity. So here's what should change. Every nonprofit receiving public money should be subject to real-time audits. Emergency funds must never bypass oversight just to move quickly. And let's bring back consequences, real ones, where government officials who fail at their jobs are held accountable. Like, we do not need more taxpayer dollars thrown at the problem. We need accountability. And Farah's sentence is just the beginning. While these crooks lived large, real kids, hungry kids, were left behind. This is why this case cuts so deep, because it's not just financial fraud, it's moral fraud. It's betrayal of the most vulnerable, all under the guise of equity and inclusion. These people deserve long sentences. Anything less than 10 years just seems crazy to me. And if you stole $50 million, 10 years is pretty light. Amy Bach, the head of Feeding Our Future, was convicted earlier this year. Other key players, Salim Saeed, Hamdi Hussein Omar, Hibo Salah Dar, all pleaded guilty. Expect more convictions to follow, and hopefully more sentences like Farah's, strong enough to send a message that public corruption will not be tolerated. So here's the real question. Where's the political fallout? Why haven't we seen any firings in the Minnesota Department of Education? Why hasn't Governor Walz be forced to answer for this? And why did Keith Ellison, the AG of Minnesota, accept campaign donations from people connected to the scam? In a clip from CBS News Minnesota, Keith is on tape saying, "Let's go fight these people." Take a listen.
As the convicted ringleader of the nation's largest pandemic fraud case waits to be sentenced in federal court, Amy Bach's attorney is still working.
She had a habit of just recording for records.
Kenneth Udobach says one recording in particular.
It would show that the Attorney General's office was aware of the contentious relationship between Feeding the Future, Ms. Bach, and MDE.
Of a December 2021 meeting with Attorney General Keith Ellison is drawing new scrutiny when several people now convicted in the Feeding Our Future scandal came to him saying they were part of a small business organization and asked for help.
I'm very concerned about it. I don't run the agencies.
Absolutely.
But let me just finish by saying, but often the agencies call on my lawyers to represent them. When you tell me, hey, this is a problem, I call somebody and say, what's going on?
Weeks later, FBI agents raided Feeding Our Future's office and the investigation went public. Ellison's office contends he wasn't briefed by the FBI about the extent of their probe. And in a statement, Ellison's office says it's a shame that fraudsters tried to exploit his good faith, but say nothing came from the meeting. Udobach says what he's most frustrated with are the AG's claims that he spent years holding Feeding Our Future defendants accountable. He says this audio,
Let's go fight these people,
proves otherwise.
Wouldn't it be easier to just say, hey, I thought these guys were upright citizens. I didn't know. I thought they were doing good work. I didn't know. That would be the truth.
Okay, so what do you think? Do you think these sentences go far enough? And should government officials be held personally liable when fraud of this scale happens on their watch. Because what the heck is their job if not to govern? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if this video opened your eyes to just how calculated this fraud was with your tax dollars, please make sure you like and subscribe and tap the notification bell. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.